Running your own business can be lonely, finding reliable professionals difficult, and generating new business challenging, but not when you have a business network. NewGen Networking provides its members with new and exciting business opportunities, with the chance to build lasting relationships with vetted businesses who can act as your sales team and solve the issue of who to turn to in your hour of need. With a range of flexible and affordable solutions, NewGen apply tried and tested principles in a modern way to suit today's world. To find the right option for your business, visit newgen-networking.com or call 03333 600 680. NewGen Networking. New business, new contacts, a new generation of networking. You're listening to the NewGen podcast exclusively on the Pod Station. Here is an interview with one of our members from the Vinci Hub.
Yes, we have Dave Forrest from Myriad Mortgages today. So hello, Dave.
Hello, John.
So Dave, straight into it. Mortgage brokers, Myriad Mortgage Brokers. Why would a client, or why would anybody ever use a broker? Why not just go to their own lender or just go online and get a mortgage? Surely that's easier.
Very, very good question, John. I mean, I think the thing is with a mortgage broker is, you know, if you want to get advice, effectively you'd have to go and you don't going to have a 2-hour interview with every bank to get the proper advice. You know, when we give advice to clients, we take all that, you know, that risk on, I suppose, of the advice, and we're giving proper advice to people. And there's just it's like buying anything online, or, you know, there's so many products out there. I think the thing is with a mortgage, you know, most people with a mortgage will think, you know, oh, I'm buying a house, so I need a mortgage. That's quite simple, but there's so much involved in it. It's things like, you know, how do you earn your income? What does your credit profile look like? How much do you want to borrow? You know, what house are you buying, or what's the finance for? You know, what are you actually getting that finance for? Because every lender out there, whether it be a bank, a building society, or some of the different types of lenders that are out there that you don't see on the high street that we have access to, they all treat everybody in a different way. So whenever you get a client, whether, again, that be the most simplest first-time buyer, you know, both employed, you know, fairly standard deposit, or whether it be something really more complicated, it's about the research, and it's going out there, doing the research, and actually finding the best overall deal and not just the best rate. I think, like with anything in life, we all think, we all want the cheapest, but, you know, the cheapest isn't, or one won't fit or won't do the job, or doesn't do what you want to do. And again, it's not just about today getting a mortgage, it's about looking at people's goals and aspirations for, you know, what they want to do. Do they want to move? Do they want to borrow more? What do they want to do? And you're really setting that up now. Nice. So the advice process is sort of like, you know, really dealing with a client on that, rather than it's not just a transaction. No. So
I take it sometimes as well, a client might get by their own bank or their own doing it themselves, might be told no.
Yeah, so many times. I mean, there was the bank that used to say yes, wasn't it? Well, we always used to say, yeah, they say yes on the telly, but always say no, because it would always be turned down. Yeah. You know, and so many times you get someone who says, oh, I've been turned down by my own bank, and most people will, you know, in the banking world, they go to their own bank first, because that's, you know, you very few people change the bank account. They stay with people for a long time, and they go along to them to get a mortgage, and then they go, oh no, we can't do that, and then there's nowhere to go then. You know, where another bank will do it, and I will say at the moment, you know, you go and try and get a mortgage appointment in your bank. One, there won't be a bank because they've closed, and two, they're not offering that service because, you know, they haven't got advisors in there anymore. The banking world's really, like most industries, haven't, you know, promoted young people coming in. Where's the next raft of advisors coming from? But, you know, our local Barclays next to our office this week closed. You know, been there for years and years, closed, and it's gone. So, and I mean, when that closed, I was thinking, Royal Bank of Scotland, my bank. The two local ones have closed. My nearest one's now Liverpool City Centre. You've got to pay for parking. So there's all that, really, I suppose.
Okay. And what other services do you offer your clients? Can you?
Well, I mean, obviously, part of the main thing we do is, would be around, getting a mortgage or getting finance. But it's not just about that. It's because buying a house or doing anything with a mortgage there's so much legal process involved. I mean, certainly buying a house. I mean, I've always said no one. This is the biggest transaction you're ever going to do in your life. Most money you're ever going to borrow and spend. And we don't sit kids down in school and tell them this potentially could happen to you, and how it works. Might be talking myself out of a job if they start doing that. But it's so important that you don't just transact the mortgage. As I say, that's quite a simple thing to do. But to actually give people advice on the actual whole process. So what are you going to go through? Because you've got to deal with if you're buying, you've got to deal with an estate agent. What does that look like? What sort of things are you going to hear? What are they going to tell you? How do you interact with them? What's the legal process? You've got to go and find a solicitor. Again, go on the internet, find a solicitor. How does that, the conveyance inside, the legal side, how does that work? Are you buying a house in Scotland, which is a totally different process legally? So there's so many things involved, and what we do with our clients is walk them through from start to finish. I always like to say, a client will come to me and say, I've found a house and I want to buy it, and then sort of like 12, 16 weeks later they move in and get the keys, but they don't have all the stress of having to sort everything out. They know everything, but then we will deal with the whole thing rather than just the main bit, which is the mortgage. And on the back of that, probably definitely just as important is protecting that mortgage. So if the worst things in life happen, what are you going to do? Are you just going to go, oh my God, what are we going to do? Or do you give me a call and we've put something in place, i.e. something like life insurance, where they're the things that we never want to pay out, but, thank God when we do have those things happen, they do pay out, and, it can be family saving, really. So they're the other sort of things that come just as important as doing the finance. And everybody's, the main thing is get the house. Don't care how I do it, I just want that house. But there's so many other things in it. They're the difficult conversations you've got to have with people, because no one really wants to spend money on that stuff. But if we don't have those as advisors, if we don't have those really difficult conversations at the beginning, there could be a major problem somewhere down the line. So it's that, and then it's the after service, really.
So you can offer all that as a package, really.
Yeah, we do. We do the whole thing. As I say, more often than not, the phone will go and someone will say, "Oh, I'm a first-time buyer, and I don't know where to start." Right. So and I would say, always say, try and get your finances in place, especially in this current market as we sit in 2021. You do get people who say, "Oh, I've offered on a house and I've had it accepted. What the hell do I do now?" Well, you're just under pressure straight away. And when you're under pressure, you are open then to getting some bad advice or doing something that's going to hurt you further down the line. So it's great if you can get a first-time buyer before they've even started looking, because you then educate them into, right, what are you going to hear from estate agents? Because at the moment you're probably going to be in a race with other clients. So can we put you in a position where you look better than the other people offering on the property? So it's all those tips, really, and having sort of been in an estate agent, not actually worked for them, but spent time in there, a good lot of time in there in a big estate agent, and really learned how that market works. Because I think we've all bought our houses and don't know what the estate agent does for you. So it's just about education, I suppose.
And once you've got a client you've done that work, do you keep in contact? Do you update them, or is it just a one-off?
Yeah, no. That's probably as much as our work each month than new clients. We're always taking new clients on, but at any month I might have 20 or 30 clients where the mortgage rate is coming to an end. So if you do predominantly now, you'll do a fixed rate because that's the way the market is. So that might be a 2, a 3 or a 5-year fixed rate. So that will come to an end and you'll drop onto the lender's standard variable rate, which will always be higher. Right. So that means your mortgage payments go up. Now the lender will write to you, because they have an obligation to write to you to tell you it's going up. Well, they'll probably only write to you once and you'll put it in the drawer. And they're probably hoping you flip onto this variable rate and pay more. So what we do with our clients, we make a call 6 months before the end of the rate to remind them that the rate's coming up in 6 months and we need to start to look at it. And what is it you want to do? Do you want to, borrow some more money because you want to do an extension, or has things changed? Have you got some funds you want to pay off your mortgage while that rate's ending, and we restructure it? So yeah, it's not just about today, but it's keep going back. And also the great part of the job is you go back and you see sometimes families grow. You know, because if it's a first-time buyer buying the first house, then the family grows, then they want to move house. So it's really about that journey, you know, and sometimes the great part of the job is seeing that journey for clients and see the family grow, see them have kids and all that. So yeah, definitely that's just as important, is to look after your existing clients than go and try and find new ones.
Okay, that's great. And finally, what other professionals do you sort of work with, or who are you looking to work with?
I mean, the obvious ones are, if there's estate agents out there, or, you know, they will pass you referrals for, you know, they want to know the finances in place, because if they've got someone selling their house, you know, they want to know the person that's buying and offering on it is in a position to move forward, because that makes the whole transaction work. I've always mentioned we deal with quite a lot of divorce and family lawyers, because whenever there's something like that going on, the finances are so important, but it's something that people will. Finances are a weird thing. People don't like looking at them all the time. You know, we quite often have people say, look, I want to look at what I can borrow, but I really don't think I can get a mortgage. That's not always the case. You know, we'll do the research, maybe put something a bit different than you think in place, but then change it in the future. So again, there's another, you know, that sort of divorce work, if you like, is really, you know, it's interesting, but it's also rewarding that you see people's lives move on. So, you know, in 2 years, you'll look totally different. I mean, we were dealing with a divorce case this week where she's really nervous about getting her own house going forward. Not been on her own before with the finances. You really didn't think she'd probably get a mortgage in place, was nervous over it. We got the mortgage in place. I think she's moving in a couple of weeks. And you've just heard her voice change on the phone over the last sort of like couple of months, where it's now very positive. So that's the rewarding part of the job, really. So divorce lawyers, and also anyone out there, companies who might have some employees. If you've got employees, generally they'll have a mortgage, or they might want to get a mortgage. You know, we'll sit down and give them some free advice on what to do. And quite often you're saying to people, well, look, right now we can't do it, but if we do this, this and this in 6 months, it will look a little bit different. And you know, because people just think, well, I'm stuck and I can't do anything. But if we start to build things up, so recently we've done a couple. This time of year, there's a lot of solicitors who are qualifying, and then what they're doing, they're going to their next contract, which is going to be a lot more money. We've just done 2 this week where they've now got mortgages in place on the salaries that they're going to be on in September, and been able to buy the house that they wanted rather than having to wait and miss out on the house. So loads of different areas, but it's just about giving some advice.
Loads of reasons why we should speak to you then, rather than speaking to our own bank. Does anyone else have any questions?
Hi Dave.
Hi Neil.
I think I've seen on the news that the stamp duty bar is coming back on. Is that going to change the marketplace at all? Or?
It will. It was free up to 500,000 to the end of June. Because of the pandemic, they've obviously kept the housing market going. That, no doubt about it, that has an influx on the higher properties. And already this week, we're getting to sort of the end of June, I've noticed it just slow down a little bit. Caveat to that though, house prices have rose so much. We have had a couple of big ones this week which aren't too bothered because they've made enough to pay the stamp duty. So whether that's the Chancellor's sort of trick, really, if you like, he knew it was going to happen anyway. People are still going to buy properties because house prices have gone up. It goes on the 1st of July, it goes down to free up to 250 till September. So what we'll probably find now, it'll go busy on them slightly lower properties. So that market will probably keep going and come back in a little bit more. And as we sort of open up of where we are, you know, people will start to move again for different reasons, you know. So, it'll have a little effect on the market. But it's one of those, I think if you want a house, you'll pay for it, really. So it'll probably keep going.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Couple of quick things. Most houses that I've seen recently seem to have been sold quite quickly. Is demand outstripping supply at the moment?
Demand is, pretty much demand always outstrips supply just because of the population and it's growing, isn't it? And, you know, it's just crazy. There's not enough houses. They never build enough houses. You know, there's always a target, isn't there, which they always seem to miss. They're trying to do it, but again, new build houses tend to be quite pricey for what they are. So the demand for sort of second-hand properties is just, you know, sometimes, I mean, we've had them where there's been it's gone on, and 13, 14 viewings in a morning, and all those people are going to make offers on it. Well, if they're going to make offers, all they're going to make offers on it, they're all sitting there thinking, right, what do we need to make offers? So as you can see, the price starts to go up. So yeah, we're getting 30 grand over the asking price, 40 grand over the asking price quite easily.
And the other thing I just wanted to ask, I just had a look then, there's roughly about 3.5 million people that are currently either furloughed or part furloughed. What are lenders' takes on those type of people?
Yeah, that's changed. Initially, it was quite positive, really. It was, okay, furloughs here, we'll still lend to you, but maybe on 60% of what your 80% is. I think at the moment, because it's coming to an end, furlough's pretty much a no-no. There's a couple of lenders who might just take it. And as I say, for those people who are self-employed who've had no help, really, it is really difficult because their accounts this year, in certain sectors, certainly, as I've mentioned a little bit before, a caterer, his accounts this year, which have now been done, just don't reflect his income that it was. So we're going to have to put something in place to maybe do something in the future. So yeah, I'd probably say pretty much now most lenders won't lend if there's any furlough on there.
Hence why they need to come to you and
yeah, just get some advice. And again, maybe that might be if we can plan a little bit in the future. But also if they're on an existing rate, if they're on a mortgage at the moment with existing lender, we may be able to switch that rate with no proof of income because we're getting them a better rate. So again, it's about advice. They might be stuck, just come to us and we'll have a look at it.
Okay, bro.
Thanks, Dave.
It's a question about valuation. I live in a semi-detached house in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Now recently my neighbour's had a penis extension. His house looks rubbish.
Right.
Will that affect my price?
It could do. Things that affect the price of your house are what's sold in the area. So when a valuation's done and when lenders look at the value of the property, generally it goes on what's sold recently in the area.
Thank you.
It's great we can edit this podcast, isn't it?
I hope so.
Has there been a change on the mortgages that they'll give to the buy-to-let market because of the problems landlords might face in actually recovering rent?
Good question, that, Mark. No, there hasn't. Buy-to-let's probably stronger than it's ever been. One, because people have got a bit of cash that they've not spent over the last sort of year and a half. So people are buying, a little property with it. No, I've not really seen any change in the buy-to-let market, really. There's been no real effect on, I can think of any sort of criteria from that thing, where the people are struggling with rents. So no, not really. Buy-to-let market's just as strong as it was, and lenders are lending. So.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Dave.
John.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you would like to visit one of our online or face-to-face hubs, visit NewGen-Networking.com and book a place. Get social at Network NewGen on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn.